Welcome back to the show, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Monday. By the way, just a reminder, we are always not just broadcasting live here on KDWN on the FM and AM dial, but we are also live on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, check it out, the Vegas Take YouTube page as well. Also, a reminder, tomorrow on the show, this is going to be a lot of fun. As you know, the Raiders have played their last official football game. And the next, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I have to, I'm almost I feel like I need to stumble. I can't believe I'm saying this. The next NFL game that the Raiders play, preseason even, the next game they play will be in Las Vegas. I really cannot believe I'm saying that. The stadium is coming along so well. It looks absolutely beautiful. But the reason why I bring up the Raiders is because we have a very special guest that is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. No, it's not John Gruden. It's the Violator. This is a guy that has been a very long time Raiders fan. He is known for his costume apparel at Raiders games. A lifelong fan of the team. We're going to get his thoughts on the team moving to Las Vegas. So the Violator himself will be joining us on the show tomorrow. Now, I know that is going to be a very interesting interview.
I'm very excited for that interview.
You're certainly not going to want to miss that. Anyway, the Raiders didn't make the playoffs, although it looked like...
Have you driven by the stadium, Brian?
It looks beautiful. It looks fantastic.
It looks like the Space Force should be training there. It looks like the Death Star. There should, the black hole, there should be a stormtrooper type of area that originates, and people should dress like they're... if you're a Star Wars fan, you should dress like that and integrate Raiders gear.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, it's an unbelievably beautiful looking... I mean, it's totally sleek and modernized, and it's going to be the best stadium in the NFL, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. I went to the UNLV game on Saturday. They played, I believe it was Eastern Michigan, just an awful basketball team offensively. UNLV was able to win that game. And then as I'm leaving the game, a few hours later, I go to the Vegas Golden Knights game, and the Knights certainly took care of business against a pretty good Coyotes team. And as I was driving to the T-Mobile Arena, I drove past the new stadium, the Raiders Stadium, and I can't believe how fast it's coming along. It's going to be done very soon. So we're really excited about that, and we're certainly excited having our very special guest joining us tomorrow, the Violator. That's going to be he's a personality, so that's going to be an interesting conversation with him. What does he think about his team now moving to Las Vegas? Speaking of the NFL, why don't we get to that, and then eventually we will be talking college football. But let me start with the game that just raises a lot of eyebrows yesterday. I was shocked to see this. I understand that the New England Patriots didn't have all their players ready to go. But how the hell, with Tom Brady, a healthy Tom Brady starting, playing against just a god-awful Miami Dolphins team?
Are they that god-awful, though, Brian?
I don't think they're very good.
I mean, they finished 5-11. They actually had a pretty decent last 8 games this season.
They're not a good football team.
They're not good, but I think god-awful is probably a stretch.
Okay, well, listen. They're not a good football team, and this was an important game for the Patriots. This was not one of those games that you put on your calendar and you say, oh, it's going to be a meaningless game. No, the reason why it was meaningful is because if the Patriots had won yesterday, they would have had a bye in round 1. And when you are banged up, as the Patriots are, they have some injuries, and you have a Tom Brady who's not getting any younger, getting that first-round bye is huge. Instead, the Chiefs got that bye. And, Pat Mahomes said it best yesterday. Hey, it's like we just got another win. It's just like we got a free win. That's exactly what it is. That's why they call it a bye. So now the Patriots, I believe they're playing the Titans. Am I correct on that, JD? I believe they play the Titans, and they're favored by 5.5 points. This is not a pushover team, this Titans team.
No.
Okay? This is not a team that they're going to run all over.
And here, fun fact, I took the Tennessee Titans at 150-1 to win the AFC 6 weeks ago for $200.
So when I looked at that spread and I saw 5.5, it told me a couple things. First of all, it told me that the bookmakers are expecting this to be a very close game. It also told me that they're giving the Tennessee Titans a legitimate chance to win this game outright.
And it's in Gillette.
This is not a 10-point spread that's the amazing thing.
Imagine
if the Patriots were to know.
It's a home game.
It's exactly.
I think if this
that
game
raised my eyebrow when I saw that spread.
I think if this game were in Tennessee, it might be -1 or -2.
Do you think that this could be Tom Brady's last game if they lose?
Yes.
You think he's going to retire?
I'm not guaranteed he'll retire. I think it's probably his last game as a New England Patriot. A close buddy that I have conversation with on a pretty consistent basis, he brought up an interesting point. He said, L.A. needs football. The Chargers are basically an embarrassment. Rivers is gone. I would not be shocked, because this would be great for the NFL, if Brady left the Patriots and finished out his career as a Los Angeles Charger.
I don't think that's going to happen. Sorry. You really think that there's a chance that Brady
I'm just saying, if he wants to keep playing, he'll go to a major market like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the Baltimore Ravens are the favorites to win the whole thing.
Right,
obviously,
as they should be. They're 14-2.
Yeah, and then as you go down the list, you see that I think the Chiefs are about third or fourth on that list. But let's just talk about some of the games that are going to be this weekend. These are the teams, obviously, that did not get a bye. And let's start with the Bills and the Texans. I think this is the one game of the 4 games next weekend that I'm going with the dog on this one to win outright. I think the Bills beat the Texans on the road. The spread is only 3. What do you make of this game, JD?
I'm not really concerned with that game. I really like the Titans game quite a bit, but the Bills Texans game, it's kind of a tough handicap. The Bills they're really offensively impaired. The Texans actually added a lot of good talent defensively, especially at cornerback. J.J. Watt might be coming back for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer them offensively. I think the Texans probably win this game, but the Bills, they're kind of a grinded-out team. They don't give up a lot of points, but they're not really flashy offensively. I'm going to give Deshaun Watson the benefit of the doubt over Josh Allen on this one.
Not usual that we go over spreads on this show, but since it is the NFL playoffs, I think it's time to do that.
You know what? I've been waiting for this for a long time, Brian. I only do it every Friday with KT.
Not often, but we mentioned the Titans and Patriots. By the way, the line opened at 5.5. Guess what? It's down to 5 now. Everyone's betting Titans. What do you make of this game? I think the Titans have at least a 20% chance to win this game.
Prime time, only game on Saturday night in Gillette. You've got Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, the new rookie wide receiver, Corey Davis. They've got a ton of talent defensively, including Logan Ryan, who used to be a Patriot. They want this game. Mike Vrabel used to be a Patriot. There's a lot of connections to this Patriots team. And the Patriots, they've had problems with big, powerful, fast running backs, and Derrick Henry is the definition of that. I love the Titans in this game.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you on this for one main reason. Here's why. Well, 2 reasons maybe. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady.
I got it.
I do agree with you that this is probably Tom Brady's last year. I think he's going to retire at the end of the year. I don't think he wants to lose in the NFL, what you kind of call a playing game. That's kind of what this is, right? It's a playing game. I don't think Tom Brady wants to end his career with a loss in a playing game in Gillette. For that reason and that reason alone, I'm not saying that they're going to run this team over. Tennessee's very good, but I do think they win in a very close game. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one. I'm not touching the spread, but I might take Patriots money line.
I'm saying Titans spread.
Okay.
I'm not saying Titans.
So you agree with me?
Line.
You think the Patriots probably?
I think it's probably a game, and it's a game that they should certainly win.
Okay, fair enough.
But Tom Brady has not looked great this year. Their defense. Stephon Gilmore, who I would consider to be the best defensive back in pro football, was just toasted yesterday by Devontae Parker.
That's fair.
Of the Miami Dolphins. And again, the Titans said they have a lot of talent offensively.
I'm not saying the Patriots game's not going to be entertaining, but I think when you look at these 4 games and you look at the one game that could be the most entertaining and perhaps the most scoring, it's the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the Saints. The spread is 8. So the Saints, this is the highest spread you'll see next weekend. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think there is going to be a lot of points. I like the over in this game. And I'll tell you what, the way the Saints have been playing.
Hey, what's the over at right now?
48.5. The way the Saints have been playing as of late and the way Drew Brees has been playing, it's hard to bet against them right now. I think the Saints win this game.
I would say it's probably impossible to bet against them. Michael Thomas just broke the record for receptions in a year. Drew Brees was 76% on the year, which is borderline Joe Burrow's numbers, who's the LSU quarterback, obviously. They've got a very, very good defense. Dalvin Cook is probably not playing for the Vikings. I would actually lean Saints and the under in a teaser.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I love the Saints to win this game and to win it by double digits. All right, last game, and I think this is going to be a really interesting game and a good game. Boy, has this spread moved a little bit. So the Seahawks are on the road playing the Eagles. The Seahawks were only favored by a point. Now they're favored by 2.5. That line could move to as high as 3. I do like the Seahawks in this game. I just think they're a better football team than the Eagles, even though the game is in Philadelphia. That is not an easy place to play. I just can't see the Seahawks losing this game. I just think the Seahawks are just the better football team, even though the game is on the road. I'd like the Seahawks to cover and win this one.
Yeah, Carson Wentz has been winning consistently with basically not really a team. His top wide receiver, Nelson Aguilar, is out. Alshon Jeffrey is out. Deshaun Jackson is out. Zach Ertz is out. Jordan Howard is out. A lot of the defense is actually relatively intact. Russell Wilson on the road, he is definitely the better quarterback statistically. But Carson Wentz, he won a Super Bowl. This guy's won the biggest games he's ever been in. Boston Scott, the running back, the 6th-round running back that they got from the New Orleans Saints. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground yesterday, as well as 84 yards receiving. I think that this is a game I'm probably not going to touch. I'm going to watch it just so I could make a play for the next week, because I believe I've got some NFC futures on the Seahawks at 25-1 that I took maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago that I probably will take into consideration, considering the fact they're playing this game. But this game I'm probably not going to touch. I might lean the under if I looked at it. What's the under right now?
You're talking about that, I believe, 42.5.
42.5. I might lean the under it. I'm not sure there's a ton of points scored, but the Seahawks defense has actually been pretty porous. And Carson Wentz, again, the guy just finds ways to win consistently. And Philadelphia is not an easy place to play, but neither is Seattle.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a fun weekend next weekend. There's a lot of games going on, and of course on Monday, January 13th, it's the national championship game in college football. But before we get to that, let's start with this Clemson game, this Clemson-Ohio State game, which was a phenomenal football game. It was a lot of fun to watch. And my thoughts on this game are as follows. Ohio State could not have asked for a better start. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they were up 16-0.
Yeah, they were up 16-0.
So let me comment on that and what, in my personal opinion, what changed the outcome of this game. Trevor Lawrence got knocked on his ass. Okay, he took a huge hit. In fact, he was motionless.
That he ducked into.
Well, regardless of how it happened, that's not my point. The point I'm trying to make is at that time, Clemson was down 16-0. Sometimes it takes a hit like that to wake you up a little bit. That's all I'm going to say. And ever since Trevor Lawrence got his ass handed to him and got knocked down, he was actually on the ground for a few minutes, and some people were saying, why? Is he even going to get back into the game? Obviously, if that happens, I don't think Clemson comes back and wins the game. But Clemson then scores 21 unanswered points. And it was that specific play when I saw Trevor Lawrence get knocked down and hurt. I said to myself, his teammates woke up a little bit, and he woke up. He was a completely different player the rest of the game. They score 21 unanswered, and they win this football game 29-23. I actually bet Clemson in this game, and when they were down 16-0, I didn't think that there was a much chance of Clemson coming back. I thought they were in a lot of trouble.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sean, and the reason that, Trevor Lawrence, he woke up, but also Ohio State lost.
You agree with that, though?
I mean, they lost their second best defensive back in Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade's a first-round pick. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. He's a 5-star player. He's the one who actually sacked Lawrence. It would have been 4th and 13 for them. They would have had to punt the ball. I think Ohio State probably would have scored. Also, J.K. Dobbins went out with an ankle injury in the third quarter in that game. And then T. Higgins, who was actually, I thought, declared out, or he was ruled out in the first half, the wide receiver, he actually came back and played in the second half. But it's all about personnel and matchups. If Shaun Wade plays that entire game, Clemson doesn't score 15 points, and Ohio State wins the game by 20. But since he went out for targeting, and then also they had another penalty on that drive that kind of aided them to score the touchdown.
You're still the number 2 ranked team in the country. You still have a lot of quality players out there.
Who have you played? Virginia?
I understand.
Texas A&M?
Listen, I understand what you're saying.
North Carolina. I mean, I'm pretty passionate about this, Brian. Clemson.
Something tells me you had money on Ohio State.
I actually did not have a lot of money on Ohio State.
A little bit.
I had a little bit of money on Ohio State money line. I did,
and they still had a chance to win the football game at the end. There.
But honestly, and I do prefer Clemson to face LSU because I've got a major future. I took them at 60-1.
Well, let's get to that game now
on January 9th.
So, but yeah, let's get to that.
Right. But the Clemson game, I think that if Shaun Wade didn't go out for targeting, they absolutely would not have won that game.
All right, fair enough. The only point that I was trying to make is if not for Lawrence being put on his ass, I think that completely changed everything, and he was a different player coming off of that injury. He got right back out there, and he woke up a little bit. All right, so Clemson.
And that run was impressive.
Yes.
The touchdown run,
yep.
Very impressive.
Well, he's going to be a great NFL player. I don't think there's any question about that. He's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. He's going to be making a lot of money. So Clemson moves on. And LSU plays Oklahoma, and there were still a lot of people out there that didn't think Oklahoma deserved to be in that football game against LSU. Well, those people that have echoed that, LSU took care of business. They just absolutely destroyed Oklahoma. That was never a football game. The Clemson game went down to the wire. This LSU-Oklahoma game was not much of a football game. LSU took control pretty much from the opening kick. So now we're looking at this national championship game, and if you're wondering what the spread is, of course, the spread is already out. LSU is favored by 5 points. Money line minus 200. The over-under is really high. 70 is the over-under. What are your initial thoughts on the spread on this game? What are your initial thoughts on where you see this game going, this championship game in a couple weeks?
Well, it's interesting the over-under being 70. I lean under here, but then I think to myself, Joe Burrow scored 7 touchdowns in the first half against Oklahoma. Clemson has not given up more than 21 points or 23 points all year, Ohio State, to an opponent. Are you telling me that Clemson's going to score 50 or LSU's going to score 30 or 20? I think LSU's going to score 45 or 50 in this game like they do every single game. I think Clemson's defense is relatively overrated. I think that LSU's defense is actually very underrated. They've got first round, they've got the Thorpe winner and Grant Delpit. They've got Derek Stingley, who's probably the best. He's a true freshman. He was the top player in the country as a cornerback. He had 15 pass deflections and 6 interceptions this year as a true freshman. They've got Christian Fulton, another first-round pick on the other side at cornerback. They've got Kalavan Chasen at defensive end. They've got a giant defensive line. They've got an outstanding offensive line. The line in this game is only 5. It's kind of gravitated between 5, 5.5, 6. I have this big future payout. The payout's almost $60,000. And I'm probably going to do some type of hedge. It might be a hybrid hedge. I could see Clemson covering the spread in this game. I don't see them winning the game, but I still have to do a minor hedge here because LSU they just have too much talent. They've got 3 good wide receivers. They have Randy Moss's son at tight end. They've got 3 good running backs. Joe Burrow, some of the throws he makes, not just the throws he makes, but also the way he evades the rush, the way that he's very, very elusive, despite the fact that his head remains up the entire time and he makes big throws down the field. And again, I've been touting LSU as the top team in the country since the start of the year at every single publication that I can.
I'm with you on this one, and I can't remember the last national championship game where I said that was going to be a blowout. And Clemson is really, really good. But here's my opinion on this game, and I don't think Clemson covers at all. I actually think LSU is going to blow this team out. And the reason why I say that, well, a lot of different reasons. First of all, Clemson is very fortunate to be in this game. They probably shouldn't have gotten past Ohio State. I think they're fortunate to be in this position. Number 2.
Well, let's talk about.
Hold on a second. Number 2, I believe that Clemson's had their time to shine. They've won national championship games, and nothing to take away from it. But I think it's, sometimes when you feel like it's just a team's destiny, it's their time. I just think it's LSU's time, and I don't think this is going to be a close football game. I just think LSU is going to win this game by double digits. I really do.
I love Coach O. I love listening to him talk. I would love to interview him, and you got to keep in mind this game is it's in New Orleans. Right. It's a home game for LSU, and
that's a factor.
Imagine the turnout for this particular game, and then let's talk about the Clemson game. One thing we did not discuss is the catch that was made by Justin Ross. He took 5 steps. He fumbles the ball. They grab the ball. They run in the end zone, and it's called an incomplete pass. Did you watch that play?
Yeah, like I said, they're very fortunate. They're fortunate to have won that football game. When you look at this LSU game, they're healthy. That was a blowout. That was a stress-free football game.
And you know
for
what?
them.
Michael Divinity, who actually left the team 6 weeks ago because he got caught with marijuana, he is now back. He led the team in sacks and tackles. He's probably a first-round pick. LSU gets him back at middle linebacker for this game. So why is the spread
only 5 then? I thought this spread would be at least 7.
And see. Well, it opened up at 3.5 and it's moved up to 5. I could see it hitting 7.5 or 8. The issue is here, if Clemson, if I don't want to say it, but if I think officiating almost has to get involved in a weird way. A couple of LSU players have to get removed for targeting, or maybe Joe Burrow has an injury that no one knows about, or maybe an LSU player was hurt in the last game and it's not being discussed, and we'll find it out in the next couple of weeks.
All right, well, I'm going to give you my all-star parlay. You ready for this?
Let's go, man.
It's a money line parlay. It's going to pay maybe about even money. I'm going to go with the Patriots money line because I don't think they lose at Gillette Stadium. I just don't see it happening against Tennessee.
The question is, how many people do you think are thinking the exact same thing you are, but they've got millions of dollars and they're betting on Big Tom?
Well, I'm telling you what I like, and it has nothing to do with spreads. I like Patriots money line with LSU money line. That is my play. That is what I'm going to go with. It is what I'm going to go with this weekend, and I'm hoping that the Patriots can get it done, and then I'm live for the LSU game. That is where I'm going with this.
Okay, and I think that probably pays out what? Minus 130?
No, it'll pay more than even money because LSU is only minus 200 right now.
Okay, so what plus?
So two minus 200 teams basically.
Plus 140.
Yeah, it's a little more. It's more than even money. That's the play I like.
I don't hate that play. I do think that you're going to see some huge money line bets on the Patriots, Brian. I mean, giant money line bets.
Well, I better get it in early then. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is I could see Tom Brady losing this game. And the Vegas books, and not just the Vegas books, all the books around the country, because now there's 19 states that have legalized sports betting, just cleaning up. Because there's a lot of people that are thinking the exact same thing you are. One of the reasons why the Clemson spread is so low is because they haven't given up a lot of points this year, and they won a national championship, and they haven't lost a game in 25 games. And Trevor Lawrence is 25-0 as a starter. Yep. But to me, on paper and from what I've seen, it's not even a conversation. LSU is the significantly better team, and they should win this game by 10+, but it doesn't mean that they will.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will continue to be talking about these games as the week progresses. By the way, the only day we're taking off this week is Wednesday, and that's New Year's Day, but we will be here tomorrow. I wanted to quickly discuss the UNLV basketball game that I went to over the weekend, and then we'll get to a little Las Vegas Knights. UNLV played what I would consider to be a very bad Eastern Michigan team. UNLV's close to about 180th in the rankings. Same thing with Eastern Michigan. They're around the same. It looked like, JD, there were like 1,500 people in the stands. It was another horrible attended basketball game. It was a terrible game. First 6 minutes of the game, UNLV couldn't even score. They did not score a field goal. Yet at halftime, the score was 28-20. UNLV is averaging in the low 60s. There is no run and gun with this UNLV basketball team. And I hate to, everyone's going to say, Brian, why are you so negative with UNLV athletics? Why are you so negative? No, it's not that I'm being negative. It's that I'm being honest. There are a lot of people in this town that, want to say, oh, it's rebuilding. It's this, it's that. First of all, you got a coach that's the highest paid coach in the Mountain West Conference. This team has been rebuilding for 10 years. Stop it with the excuses. If right now the UNLV starters transferred, they would go to Power 5 schools. So stop it with this rebuilding garbage because it's nonsense, number one. Number two, Amari Hardy didn't start in this game again. And I understand that T.J. Otzelberger is trying to send some sort of message, but I'm going to tell you something. Amari better start come Wednesday because Wednesday they're playing one of the best teams in the conference and a lingering top 25 team. They're out of the top 25 now. Utah State comes to town on New Year's Day. I'm really looking forward to that game. I think Utah State's very, very good. They have a great coach, and I think Utah State is going to plow through UNLV on Wednesday at the Thomas and Mack Center. San Diego State, do you remember, JD, 3 weeks ago when I watched San Diego State, they were underneath the radar. They were not even close to top 25 in the country.
Yeah.
I watched them tear apart Iowa and Creighton. And I said to him on the show, I said, mark my words, this San Diego State team is a top 25 team in the country, and they are the best team in the conference. Well, it just so happens now that San Diego State is ranked 15th in the country, ahead of teams like Kentucky and Michigan State. So this team is to be reckoned with. This is probably the most talent San Diego State has had since the Kawhi Leonard days. I mean, this team is really, really stacked. They're really good.
And they're one of two teams in the entire country that's undefeated. It's San Diego State and Auburn. And I looked at this team top to bottom. They go 9 deep. They have a accomplished point guard in Malachi Flynn.
He is a great transfer
from Washington State.
He is fantastic.
They've got the two Mensa brothers, the two 6'10" Mensa brothers. They've got Mitchell off, the sixth man off the bench.
And I think Mitchell could probably start on any team in the Mountain West. Well, man, this show goes by so fast. It's unbelievable. Didn't even get a chance to talk Vegas Golden Knights, but congratulations to them winning over the weekend. And Mr. Mark Stone, 2 goals. That was a fun game to watch. But we have to go, folks. It is time. We have a 21-hour break, and then we will be back right at you tomorrow. And we have a very special Raiders guest coming on the show tomorrow, JD. Tell them about that.
Yeah, Violator's coming on the show. He's you've seen him. He's the guy that kind of looks like he's got spikes coming out of his head, but his face is always painted in Raiders gear. Now, I wanted to tell you guys and the listeners, please, our website, the www.thevegastake.com. We've now got about 95 articles and segments up there. We've got a full writing team. We've got correspondence. The Vegas Take is really expanding and kind of exploding. Please check out the website and read some articles and listen to some segments.
All right, man. That was a fun show. Sean Hannity coming up next. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody.